Hi again, this is Rick with AmazingAccuracy.com. Today is July 14th, 2017. It's currently 7:34 p.m. Chicago time. All right, well, I thought today we'd talk about the silver market because we have a buy setup. Now, I'm not going to give you trading recommendations because that's not what I'm registered to do. But I'm going to talk to you about what I think the silver market is going to be doing in the near term. In other words, for the short term, I'm going to give you some short term information that is good for a few days, and what you decide to do with it is all up to you. Now, we're currently looking at silver, you can see right here, and we're looking at the weekly chart. This application here is called Provisions Charting, which I supply free of use to our members of the membership. And it has lots and lots of powerful tools. I just absolutely just love to use this one because I can do things all in one application that would cost a lot of money and several apps to do, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. One of the things that I'm going to tell you about, though, is that, well, today's Friday, as you know, at least I hope you know, and it's the end of the week, so this weekly bar is now completely formed. We can now see what it's done, and silver has been going down, 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 unfortunately, for those of us who save silver. But I know in the long term it is a good hold investment. But we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about this week. And you'll notice the low of this week, and I've got my mouse here and I'm kind of circling this price bar right here. That's the end of this week, week ending 7/14, which is today. Notice the low is at the bottom of the square. This is 90-degree time price squaring coming off the top here of week ending June 9th, which was the last significant weekly swing top, and that's the reason why I applied the time price squares to it. And you can see that it came down, hit support here on this support line, has stayed broke down, and now has found support here. What is significant about this is that if you look at these two diamonds here, these are weekly turn dates. They're used to forecast these so-called weekly turns here. And as the market was moving down, it had a correction right here. You can see it came down, found support, went up, found resistance at the 3 fib MAs that I've got here, these three colorful lines, found resistance here, made a lower swing top. You can see the high of this week, which is week ending June 30th, is higher than the previous week, which was week ending June 23rd. So prices actually rallied this week. This week I'm pointing to, not this week, which is here, but this week of the week of June 30th, it rallied up, making a higher high, which is called a retracement. Whenever you have the market is moving in one direction, then goes against that one direction by putting in an opposite extreme. In this case here, going down means it's making lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. But then it comes down here and it makes a higher high, which means it's a correction against the trend that's going down. And then it proceeded down even lower. Well, this weekly update forecasted that we would have a change here, and we did. We had a correction and another weekly swing top. So we have a weekly swing top, a lower weekly swing top. That's what we call these when it's within a trend. Here is the weekly swing top. Then we had a lower weekly swing top, and now we have a low at support. This is not a weekly swing bottom because prices have not moved up yet and exceeded this high. Once it does, and this is the lowest low, this will be a weekly swing bottom, which I expect is very likely to occur. Why do I think that? Well, now that we know that this has already done its job in this lower weekly swing top, we come down here, we're within one bar of this diamond here, which it is saying that next week or the week after is the higher probability, but it does not exempt that it could occur 1 bar early. This is just giving you historical probability, okay? And the fact that it's at support already and that it is closed up nicely. And also, I'll show you some other information that supports it. I believe that we're going to be looking at a weekly swing bottom for week ending 7/14, which is this week. Oh boy, these are all tongue twisters. Also notice this red zone right here for those who are here for the first time to watch my videos. This is the oversold territory. This is a special indicator that I have in this program here, which is pretty awesome. And when you see price moving into this area, it has a very high probability of wanting to bounce back out of it in the opposite direction. So we should start seeing prices wanting to go back up again. Moving to the daily chart, we can see here that I've applied time price squares again, and this time it was all the way back here on June 6th top. The June 6th top, because this was the last major top of this trend here. Here was that correction that we saw on the weekly. Let me go back there. That was forecasted by this weekly turn date right here of June 23rd, right there. Well, that is magnified on the daily chart right here. So you can see that what was forecasted on the weekly is now very clear on the daily. You can see that the daily trend was moving down, found support, came up, closed below the line, so it never did close above these 3 fib MAs, and it continued to be a resistive roof. Prices then continued all the way down, and you can see it too found support at time price. In this case, I applied 45-degree squares off of that high there. And back here on July 10th, which was last Monday, it found support. It found support right here on this daily F date. Then it came up, made this, excuse me, made this swing top, which is called a lower swing top because there's the previous swing top right there and then the previous swing top right here. Okay, so it went lower and then here's a lower swing top. And why is this a swing top? Well, it's higher than this bar, and then this one made a lower low than here. So prices then changed and started moving downward, confirming that as a swing top. So that was forecasted by that F date of 7/10. Then there was an F date for 2 days later for 7/12 that made the top. And now prices came down within 1 day of the next F date, which is 7/17. But also nicely, it is at the end of the time of 2 squares, which is, you know, a good little indication if you can get that as well. Also Fibonacci, everything seems to be lining up for this bar right here. And what I like about it is you'll notice it's an outside bar. You have a lower low, so prices moved lower down to here, and then it closed up higher. So it's already made its own correction of the correction. In other words, it's made its own resumption of the trend because it now has gone higher than the previous lower swing top. So it's already trying to form a counter move to this downward move here. But notice that this low here, this potential swing bottom here, is higher than the actual weekly one that happened on Monday. So with prices moving up and then pulling back, and this being a potential swing bottom, because again, why? Because, well, it's within 1 day of an F date, so that's one thing. It's also in this oversold daily zone here. We got Fibonacci, we got time price squaring. Lots of things are lining up for this to be a potential higher swing bottom. Higher in that it's higher than this swing bottom, which is the ultimate bottom right now. This makes this a pre-confirmation buy setup for those who are members of my F-Date membership. We look for things like this. We call this a pre-confirmation buy setup rather than a standard buy setup, because standard buy setups are based on confirmed weekly swing bottoms. But as I've already discussed, we don't have a weekly swing bottom. We have a potential weekly swing bottom for reasons I've already discussed. So when you base your buy setup off of a potential weekly swing bottom, we just call that a pre-confirmation, meaning We haven't yet confirmed a weekly swing bottom, so it's a pre-confirmation of what we expect to be a confirmed weekly swing bottom. That may be too much for you to take in without all the practice and everything, but anyway, just letting you know that the potential is extremely high, that this becomes a confirmed higher swing bottom, and for prices then to likely start rallying for the near term in silver. Okay, so I'm looking for silver to start appreciating a little bit as of this day. Another thing too, if you look down here, we got the MACD and the DMS indicators here, and I always put the MACD on top of the DMS. And when we have this kind of scenario like we had back here, if you'll notice where the MACD gets real close to it and then goes up, in other words, it goes really oversold and goes up, crosses up. At the same time, the DMS peaks and then starts to go away. I call this a convergent divergent of the MACD DMS, which usually marks the short-term end of a bear trend, which if you can see, it happened here. We had a bear trend. It ended here. It ended here. Then it rallied back up. Now it's come down even lower, and it looks like we're starting, the DMS is starting to curl over, because you can see I got the red going down, the blue going up. This thing's starting to curl down. This is starting to curl up. You can see the green histogram popping up right there. So we have another convergence, and it looks like a divergence is going to be forming there. And if so, again, we look like we may be at the end, and I think we are at the end of the bear trend here for the short term, and for prices to start to rally, much like it did back over here the last time we had this. Whew! Okay, well, packed a whole lot of stuff for 12 minutes. I hope that that helps you if you're a silver trader or a silver investor. And I appreciate you watching my videos. And, please make sure you subscribe so that you'll be notified of the next one on a timely manner. And click that little bell next to the subscribe so that you will be notified for every one of them, because YouTube kind of does things a little differently now. And just subscribing alone is not enough to get you notified of every single video. Again, thanks, and I'll see you next time. Take care.